What's up, and welcome to the Non-Fungible Creator Show. This is your host, Non-Fungible TC, Non-Fungible today, and Non-Fungible tomorrow. And today we are so happy to have Vish. He used to be a senior artist in one of the top 10 gaming studios in the world, but he has recently decided to leave and pursue a career in Web3. So how are you, Vish?
Hey man, yeah, I'm very glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you so. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, before you begin, can you share more about your background on where you're from and what are you doing right now?
Yeah, sure. So I'm 29 years old and I'm an NFT artist from the Netherlands. I'm now residing in China. And so right now I'm working at Retro Digital on my own IP as a creative director. And I'm also a co-founder with some of my other friends at Neko Nation. So yeah, I think you're scrolling through my portfolio right now. And
Yeah, this is this what you have done in the past? So you were a concept artist for a gaming studio, right? So basically what do you do there?
yeah, so what we do in the gaming studio is we have a production pipeline. We make games. And at the start of the production pipeline, there's always someone that does a lot of the sketching, the ideation. Yeah, basically comes up with all of the ideas before they get turned into 3D and into the game. And that's what a concept artist basically does.
Okay, so on the screen we have your previous work. So this is like basically what you do, right? So you drew all of this, right?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's very impressive. Like, do you come from an arts background? Like, do you study arts for college in the Netherlands, and then how did your journey happen?
Yeah, so as you can see in my portfolio, there's a lot of Asian influences. And I think it all started really when I went to study in Singapore, actually, at the Fengsu Design School. So when I was 20 years old, I went there for about a year, and I studied under Fengsu himself. And yeah, this guy, he worked on very famous IPs like Transformers and The Hobbit and Star Wars, all those kinds of stuff. So it was a very big, nice experience over there.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So can you share more about your Web3 story? How did you first come across NFTs and also the Metaverse? Because I know you are building the Metaverse as well.
Yeah. So before I started working in a big gaming studio, I was actually a digital nomad. So I was traveling a lot and being on my laptop. So I'm very used to communicating with online communities. And this is also how I got to meet a lot of people that are into crypto. Since if you travel around a lot, it's very hard to handle digital or just currencies in general. Every time you move somewhere, you have to change the currency. However, with cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Ethereum, something like that, you could just hold it and directly exchange it to whatever currency you want. It's just very easy. Um, I have always, or for the past few years, I've held a little bit of Ethereum and Bitcoin, that kind of stuff, and that also got me exposed to the NFT market. And it was mainly when Beeple started having his first, let's say, was it 69 million
69
dollars?
days. Yeah, $69 million.
That's when I got dragged into the space like a lot. Yeah, that's when I saw some of my favorite artists putting out their NFTs as well. And I started buying them, and that's when the CryptoPunks also started gaining more value. And I was actually very flabbergasted that the CryptoPunks were gaining a lot of value, but then these beautiful artworks, which I bought, they were pretty stagnant. Uh,
Okay.
so that's when I really dove in very deep, and yeah, started exploring these metaverse things and building there, and creating my own projects as well. Actually, and I think what you have right now is my foundation, and this is what I made
Yeah.
very early on. So as you can see, I went through my Dogecoin phase as well with Elon Musk there. Oh,
Oh, this one, right?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think most NFT artists, when they first enter the space, they have a phase like this where they do like meme stuff.
Well, we need memes to help us cope with the market, right? Especially recently. But yeah, that's interesting because the way you share is because you were a digital nomad, right? You've been around to
Yeah.
different places,
Mm.
and all you have is like a laptop and your skills as a concept artist or as someone who draws on his computer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's how you got into crypto. I mean, that's a very interesting story because I never thought of that. And the way you say it is that basically going to different countries, you can exchange it for a different currency.
Yeah.
That shows how accessible cryptocurrency is. And right now, with so many attention on cryptocurrency, there is more application and utility for maybe just Ethereum, Bitcoin, and so on. So yeah, so right now you're full time into crypto, right? I know that you recently resigned from your job at a top 10 gaming studio, right? Can you tell us more about
Mm.
your journey, and what are you doing now in Web3?
Yeah. So I started doing some NFT project, like generative ones, before I quit the job. So I did one with the sneakerheads as an artist, and also I helped out with uninterested unicorns. And both of those projects actually sold out within an hour at
Wow.
launch. So they were very successful. And that was basically when I was like, okay, I'm working this full-time job, but this is probably not what I want to do since whenever I'm sitting there, I'm just aching to get home and work on NFT stuff and do metaverse building. Uh, so yeah, now I can do that all the time. So it's especially nice to work on Neko Nation since uh, I'm working with some friends that I've made along the way. Uh, like we're on the Discord all the time, chatting with each other and voice chat and stuff. And yeah, we decided to do this project together. And yeah, it's now grown into a huge community, and yeah, I think it's going to be very big. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually in the Neko Nation Discord as well. I really like how you guys engage with the community. You guys have game nights, you guys have karaoke night. And
Yeah,
the
yeah,
reason
yeah.
why I came across Neko Nation was actually something that you created because you are actually a
Oh,
metaverse
okay.
builder, right? And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Exactly.
actually came across the build that you did in Cryptovoxel, which is super cool. Let me try to pull this up. Yeah, so how do you meet the team and what transpired this to happen?
Yeah. So when I did my research, I came across a bunch of Discord servers, and one of them was NFT Asia, and that's where I linked up with some of the other artists in the Discord. And yeah, Rochelle, Zenevieve, and Wayne, Roost, all of them were in there. And yeah, I had done a couple other projects, and we were like we were hanging out together all the time and talking about NFTs. So at some point we saw all these shitty projects, and we're thinking we can do this way better. Like we can build communities, we can build value, we can build art very nicely. I mean, yeah, I think we're building something very nice here, and I
Yeah,
hope it shows.
yeah, this is really cool. I mean, like, did you build this whole thing yourself?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
This
how
one
long?
is
Yeah,
all
how long
built
did
by
it
me.
take you
Yeah.
to build?
This one maybe a week, something like that. Since in voxels is very it's very slow to build and very painful, really. I mean, like you can see in my other art, I'm usually used to very realistic art and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that. So building voxel per voxel is really painful. But I mean, I think it's worth it. It's the metaverse, so it's very early. Everything is very painful still, but I think we'll be a lot more smooth there, a few years in maybe.
Yeah, I think this is, just amazing. I mean, like, who could have imagined that one person, right, could build the whole thing in a week? And as you said, because I have interviewed other voxel artists in the past as well, right? Basically, you have to put all the blocks one by one.
Yeah,
So it's a lot of effort. So I have great respect for,
it's a
voxel
lot of
artists,
effort. Yeah.
wearable designers. So yeah, can you share more about your experience with the metaverse? Like, besides Crypto Voxel, are you into other metaverse as well? Are you a 3D designer as well?
So yeah, in my concept artwork, I use some 3D software as well. So that actually helps me with the voxel works because I can I can make it in 3D software first, like Blender or Maya, and then convert it to voxels, and then edit it more. Yeah, so as you can see here, this artwork you just showed, that's it's a lot of 3D parts actually. And what I would do for these, have a 3D base and then draw on top of it, and use some photo stuff. So I'm always looking for new ways to uh, to make new stuff, right? And I really believe that metaverse, uh, yeah, the metaverse concept. I don't think a lot of people really understand it the way I would, but I think that a shared economy where people actually get value from playing and building, that's going to be the future. And that's also why I have some metaverse land. Like I got a bunch of sandbox land when it was very low. I think I bought it for like $500 a land, and right now the price is
Wow.
like more like 10,000. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That's
so
crazy. Yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. I think just being in the space is actually very rewarding already. Just because of yeah, if you're engaged, then it's not easy to gain to profit from it, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, out of curiosity, because you come from a gaming studio background, right? You work
Hmm.
with game studios. So when you first saw all of these metaverse like Sandbox, Cryptovoxels, Somnium Space, what was your thought toward it? Like, is like, do you see it differently compared to, regular people like us?
Yeah, I tested out most of them before I would actually try to build in it, since it's still kind of painful to build in most of them. So yeah, I would scrutinize them from a game point of view, and also the centralization and decentralizations of the platform is very important to me. Like I think, for example, I'm not a big fan of Decentraland, even though the name says it's decentralized, is not really. Like if I want to build some variables in there, I have to apply for it and I have to go through a whole process, which is very slow. And for Cryptovoxels, for example, I can, all I have to do is have own a land, and then I can make as much variables as I want. So you're a lot more free, and I feel like it's a lot more fair for people to build stuff as well. So yeah, I look at it in a lot of ways, in a gaming way, but also a decentralized versus centralized way.
That's interesting because before this show, right, I interviewed someone who's also a voxel artist, and he's
Mm.
from Brazil, and he was sharing his story about how he's now able to make a living by creating voxel wearables, and it's very meaningful because Web3 have created a lot of new job opportunities, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
I think that's such a beautiful thing. And talking about job opportunity, your biggest recent career change is to work in Web3 and Web3 gaming, right? Blockchain games,
Yeah.
which is Reign of Terror. So this is Reign of Terror. So do you mind sharing more about your role as a creative director there, and maybe also about the project?
Yeah, so when I was actually traveling through Southeast Asia mostly, this is when the idea for Reign of Terror already started. So I started seeing all these beautiful cultures and super cool ideas. That's when I put them all together in this IP, basically this idea of a world. And when for NFTs first started, I did some work for other people. But when I got some success, I thought that this would be the time to actually put this IP into action, make it into a real game. So that's when I teamed up with some of my colleagues at the gaming studio I worked at, and yeah, we got a bunch of investment, and now we're making a token, doing NFT drop as well. Uh, so yeah, it's just very exciting that finally, after all these years, the opportunity is there to make my own creation into an actual game rather than just some 2D visuals.
Yeah, I think that's very meaningful because now when we talk about Web3, we talk about ownership, right? Digital ownership. And now, in the past, you were working for a game studio where they say, hey, Vis, help us do this, help us draw this concept art for a certain scene. But now you are now taking ownership because you're the creative director, right? you could be like, hey, I've been to different places in Asia, and these are the inspiration that I have, and this is the game that I want to make, and this is a game that really belongs to you and your team. And people who play that game actually owns these NFT as well. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
very
yeah.
beautiful ownership story. So yeah, what is this game about? Is it a cyberpunk ARPG or yeah
So it's the gameplay is more related to XCOM, or at least part of the
mhm,
gameplay. So you actually have there's a huge tower, and in this tower there's limited amounts of lands, and the higher in the tower you are, the more advantages your land has. It's a very unfair world, and in this land you can have factories and buildings where you can upgrade your units, and then you can actually fight with those units, fight for the Reign of Terror coin, and you can also actually fight against your other players and steal their coins and steal their NFTs. You can ransom them as well. You can kill them. So it's a very high stakes game if you so choose. So, but you could also just play it for fun and play very casually. But I'm mostly excited about the high stakes plays where you could lose all your NFTs or win all of it. I think that should be very exciting. It's something that can only be done with NFTs. I think that's mainly what we're trying to do with this game. Yeah, in a way, really. Mm.
Yeah, so what's the timeline right now? When is the game coming out? You make it sound very interesting.
So the NFT drop is somewhere end of next month. That's when we're gonna do a 10K profile picture drop, and the game is probably gonna be playable maybe 2 or 3 months into the future.
So it's pretty fast. I mean, the development time is quite short.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. I mean, we're building a huge team right now.
Yeah.
I think our team is almost 40 people right now.
Oh wow, that's a big team. And just out of curiosity, because my understanding in crypto is that crypto move very fast, right? So the team have to push out updates. They have to push out the project really quickly. So compared to a crypto blockchain game, to a game studio that you've been working in the past, right?
Hmm.
Would you say that the timeline in crypto and Web3 is way faster than a traditional gaming company?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. But also, we're pushing out playables at a faster rate, but also earlier. So let's say we have beta testing for NFT holders, and we only have the first part of the game playable in the beginning, and then after we're gonna do the land system and the building part. So we laid things out in let's say blocks, and yeah, it's not like a whole game just push it all together. We can actually just work on it. It's like a work in progress, because we also want to get feedback from our players to make it in a more decentralized way, instead of having only the game designers decide about what is actually happening in the game.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting because in a traditional gaming studio, you won't open this to the public, right? You won't have the gamers participate, like the public gamers participate, right? But in a blockchain project, the NFT holder, as you said, could participate while you continue building the game.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I mean, they hold the NFT, so they actually hold the assets in the game as well, instead of just the gaming studio. So they're stakeholders in that sense.
Yeah, that's very it's a very interesting way to see it. And from a concept artist who have worked in a traditional gaming studio, right? If there's another concept artist or someone who works in a traditional gaming studio watching this video, and he or she is looking for advice to enter into Web3 or the Metaverse, like what advice would you give them?
Mm. Yeah. So before you get into anything, I think it's best to do as much research as you can. Uh, like before I've minted my own artwork, actually, the first thing I did was buy an NFT myself. Uh, I mean, it's just to even experience what it feels like. I think first you have to understand the mindset of your buyers, and then you can design a product towards that. If you don't have any experience what and having an NFT or trading one is, what the market is like, the communities, and you're just not doing enough research. What I see a lot is artists that try to mint and sell artwork without really doing enough research. They just try to push NFTs on other people.
Mm,
And yeah, I think it's that find a community that likes NFTs and try to make friends there and discuss with them and yeah, be part of the NFT community really. What's also possible is to try to find work at a blockchain company or game studio that does blockchain games. That
mm,
way, we learn a lot as well. But I still think I would advise picking your own road and see where it leads.
mm.
Because actually, a lot of artists I've met on the way, ever since I got into NFTs, they're doing very well now. So it's definitely worth it to just get yourself involved with the community and to work there.
Yeah, and out of curiosity, you were saying that before you bought, I mean, before you minted your NFT, you bought your first NFT, right?
Yeah.
What NFT project is that?
It was actually by a very famous concept artist named Spart, and he's the creative director at Halo actually.
Mm, okay. So it is a work by concept artist as well. So you kind of
Yeah, yeah,
appreciate, like you kind of as so like you relate to that NFT in a sense.
yeah. I mean, I was wanting to buy it to actually have it in my gallery because like another reason why NFTs really click with me is because I did the digital nomad lifestyle. That means
Mm-hmm.
that I'm living everything I have is inside a bag. If I like some kind of artwork, I can't buy it because there's no place to really hang it. The only really real place you could collect artwork is on your phone buying NFTs. And I obviously I love art, so NFTs really clicked with me because of that. Because then I could actually own it without having to bring it with me everywhere.
Wow, that's the first time I heard of this. I mean, like I always thought that someone told me that the pros of an NFT is that you can show it to everyone, right? Let's say if you have a
Hmm.
physical painting, someone has to come to your home to appreciate that painting. But the way you say it, especially nowadays with our generation, people love to travel, right? There's more
Yeah,
and more digital nomad, and NFT is now serving another type of purpose because it is something that you could collect, right? It is art, right? And it is
yeah.
something you can bring with you everywhere because it's all on the blockchain.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's the same reason why I have a lot of tattoos. I like to collect artwork, but this time it's on my phone instead of my body.
Wow. I'm not mind blown by what you're saying. Like it's a totally different perspective towards it. I mean,
Hmm.
and it is interesting how your background as a digital nomad is able to, help you get into the space and meet other different people, and you guys are building a project together. And you just said that you know other different type of artists, and they're doing quite well with NFTs, right? And a while back, I had a discussion with someone, and what they said is that in the past in Web 2, you could upload your art to ArtStation, you could upload your portfolio, but people could only give you a like or something like that, right? But
Right.
now you can upload your art and mint it as an NFT, but the people who appreciate it can really collect that art. So would you say that the digital ownership aspect has made things better for artists or creators?
Yeah. It has, but also a little bit more scary because you know that if you don't do your marketing, your social media well, then the price is probably going to go down.
Mm,
So, so it's also you put a price tag on everything, and that can be a little bit scary. But
mm,
yeah, it's still worth a jump to me at least. I mean, if your price goes down, then at least you know, okay, I got to work on something, and if you work on something and it works, then you also see an price. So it's direct feedback. That's
mm.
something that's good too.
Yeah, because a while back I had another show with a pixel artist, and then he said jumping into NFT could be scary for a lot of artists because now you have a price associated with your art, right?
Yeah,
And it fluctuates to a certain degree. Like we're not talking about generative profile pictures, okay? We're talking about one out of one art, right?
yeah.
And sometimes it's scary for artists to kind of list their art because they don't know how to value it, right? So what's the strategy in that? Like what is your advice for new artists into this space? How would you advise them to price
Um,
it or cope with
yeah.
this
So
thing?
I think be humble first. Even yeah, just be very humble, and then someone will probably buy it, and then the next time you list something on ArtStation or I mean OpenSea or Foundation, people already see that okay, this guy has already sold something, that means that he has an audience, and then people are actually more eager to buy it. So I think just be humble, start small, and then you can grow very big.
And do you have anything to cope with the the mental side of things? Because what I heard is that as artists, sometimes you might not be well equipped to receiving criticism, especially when it comes to a price, right? Because your art is being tied to a price. So do you have any support group with fellow artists, to support each other in that aspect?
Yes. So actually, as a concept artist, you have to deal with a lot of criticism. So this is actually, if you work in the game industry, you're going to be very used to. But otherwise, yeah, there's definitely art groups where I also give critique and where other people receive critique. It's something you should learn for sure as an artist. You have to be able to handle critique.
So yeah, before we end the stream, is there anything else you would like to share?
Um, yeah, I think we're gonna make it, and huddle till you die.
Yeah, and thank you so much for sharing this really insightful thing. I mean, like from a digital nomad and how you take that bold step to enter Web3. From working in an established gaming studio to working on your own project. So as someone who's just met you, but I'm really happy for your journey and what you're building so far. I'm looking forward to your projects, Reign of Terror, and also Neko Nation.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very excited as well. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. And for those of you who are watching, feel free to like and subscribe the content. Vissch content links are in our description below, so you can check out his artwork and the projects that he's working on. And I do know that he's gonna do a giveaway, so watch this video, and then we actually have some clues in between. So check out his Twitter, and then he's gonna do some giveaway. So thank you all for watching. Thank you, Vissch, for your time, and really appreciate your sharing.
All right. Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.